Okay, so for the exercises, I opted for some exercises for phonology. We're going to start with a few exercises for phonology, and we're going to finish with an exercise for morphology, right? So first exercise for phonology, exercise 1. This is what you are required to do. Give the correct technical term for the sounds made in the following ways. Don't lips come in, don't say anything, don't do it on your own, write the word. So when you have both lips coming together for the production of some sounds, what is the technical term to use for this one? The bottom lip and the top teeth coming together. This part of your lip and the upper teeth coming together. What is the term that we have seen, the old way of doing it, okay? The tongue touching the upper teeth ridge, the tongue touching the hard palate, the tongue touching the soft palate. So there are some words, technical words we have used when we refer to the chart in relation to place of articulation, manner of articulation. Okay, there are some technical terms there. So can you use the appropriate ones referring to these sounds produced via these ways, okay? Don't write it, you're going to have it, but you can just go ahead and write the answer, right? Write the answer directly. Okay, so we try to do that. Now, what do you think? So this is the easy way, okay, of doing the exercises, okay? But they can go to further complex types of exercises. But just for you to help you understand, okay, more the concepts, and also for you to know what you're expected to have in the exam. So both lips, okay, come in together. Okay, for sure. So they are bilabial, right? The bottom lip, and then the top teeth come in together. Labial, dental. Okay? So again, if you notice, we are using the old framework. Because there is the old framework, relying simply on the manner of articulation, the place of articulation. But then there is also the new framework. This is one I can ask you, for example. What I can ask you is give you, for example, a sound, and then ask you to give me what are the distinctive features of this sound, using the binary system, minus plus, right? Now let's go on. The tongue touching the upper teeth ridge. Okay. Alveolar. The tongue touching the hard palate. Okay. Palatal. Just for pronunciation, palatal. Okay. The tongue touching the soft palate. Okay. Let's see. Velar. Okay. Velar. So these are the answers for these words. You can have it in one way, okay? This is one way of having it. The other way of doing it is, for example, I ask you, can you give me a bilabial sound? Give me, this is one way of doing it, okay? But just to show you, okay? I ask you, for example, give me examples of labial dental sounds. Then you have to write them, okay? So using the phonemic representation. Let's go on to the second exercise. Exercise 2. Give the symbol. This is it. Give the symbol for each of the following sounds and give an example of its use in an English word. So, give me what is this sound that is voiced bilabial and plosive. Think about it, and then you write it. Okay, what is it? Good. And then you give an example of a word where it is used. Okay, bilabial nasal, voiceless labiodental fricative, and etc. Alveolar lateral, and you can notice here that we're introducing the new distinctive features: lateral, alveolar lateral. Okay, high front and rounded vowel. You can go back and go to the chart, so the chance for this moment, okay, but not for the day of the exam. Voiced alveolar fricative, voiced frictionless continuant, voiceless velar plosive, and finally a voiced dental fricative. Okay? Don't write this, okay? Don't write this. Just give the answer, okay? Give the answer. Or if you want to take a write, no problem with me, okay? But just because of time, because we're almost approaching on the end of the class. Voiced bilabial plosive. Okay. This is an example. But it's voiced, it's bilabial, and it is a plosive. Okay. The best way to do this, the best way to go through these kinds of exercises, is to start with the feature which includes less sounds. Okay, which includes less sounds. For example, if you say plosives, you don't have as many as bilabials or voiced. Okay, plosives. Then you have how many plosives? You have okay, and then in this category, look for bilabials. Only two. And then in these two, only one which is voiced, which is b. So this is the way how you can go through the exercise. Start with limited and then go to further limited sounds. Okay? Bilabial nasal. Now here, for example, start with the nasals. Don't go and start with the bilabials. Okay? Start with the nasals. Nasals you have only three. Okay? And here you have to look for the bilabial one, which is okay, which is this one. Okay? Example, mother, mat, whatever. Another one, voiceless labiodental fricative. Go to fricatives, then go to labiodentals, then go to voiceless ones. Okay? And the answer is the. Okay, like fat, fat, alveolar lateral. So laterals you have only one. Okay. La and the example let. Okay. High front and rounded vowel. C, E, E. Okay, like in C. High back rounded vowel. Okay, U, like in room. Take it seriously, okay? Okay, it's not something that is makes you laugh. Okay, why should you laugh? Why? It's normal. We are doing like linguistics. It's normal to do this. Okay, you have to do that way in order to understand better. So why should you? Okay. Voiced alveolar fricative. Okay, we have z like zoo. Voiced frictionless continuant, r, rat. Voiceless velar plosive, okay, like in call. Finally, voiced dental fricative, The, like in that. The, like in that. It's a fricative. And in fricatives you look for dentals. Dentals there are only two. And then you look for voiced one, which is the. Right?
Yes.
Did you take notes?
Yes.
If you don't finish, you can take notes later from the blog. Exercise 3. Transcribe. Another way of doing exercises is to ask for, we ask you for transcription. Transcribe the following words phonemically, right? You have to use the phonemic, okay, the symbols, International Phonetic Alphabet symbols, to transcribe them. So you have ghost, among, infiltrate, farmyard, judging. The best way of doing practice in this regard is with the help of your friend, or you can do it on your own. You take a dictionary and then you take some words and then try to transcribe them, and then you can check your answers by referring back to the dictionary again, where you have the phonemic transcription to check if you are wrong or right. Right? But this is the best way to do it. So girls, I'm going to show you the answers and you take no notes, okay? Ghost, among, okay? As I told you, it needs a lot of practice. Really, you have to practice this at home on your own, okay? Infiltrate, farmyard. You see farmyard, for example, now with the R, okay? So here it uses the British accent, okay? Because in British accent, you don't pronounce the R. Usually it is dropped, okay? Farmyard. There is the R there, but they don't pronounce it, okay? But Americans, farmyard, if you retroflex R, okay? Judging, okay? Take notes. Okay, then finished. We have to go to the other exercise. One exercise, I think, or two left for morphology. Very important as well to do. Okay? Hurry up. Next exercise, morphology. So pick out the bound morphemes in the following words and say whether they are derivational morphemes or inflectional morphemes. So you remember we said that there are two types of bound morphemes. They are inflectional and they are derivational. If it is derivation, you say D. Inflection, if you say EI, okay, as a symbol, okay? So you determine them first. What are they? The bound morphemes. And then next to the bound morpheme, you can say, for example, if it is ED, for example, maybe it's not in there, maybe it's in there, but ED, for example, you can say it's a bound morpheme, yes, bound morpheme, okay? You say ED. And then next to it, you say D or I, derivation morpheme or inflection. You have to decide about that. Okay? You isolate the bound morpheme and put it after with a word. Okay? For example, wanted. What I'm going to do is put ed afterwards, isolate it, put it alone, and then after it I'm going to put I. It means it is an inflectional morpheme. It's not a derivational morpheme, right? So this is what you're going to do. Isolate the bound morpheme, write it alone, and next to it you write D or I. If it is derivational morpheme, you write D. If it is an inflectional morpheme, you write I, right? Sometimes you can have more than one bound morpheme, maybe two bound morphemes in one word, right? So examples there for you are inflectional terrifying, hospitalized, regularize, reviewers. For example, here you have more than one, okay? Reviewers, more than one. Respectably, represents, stifles, previewed, submariners. Okay? Okay, the answers for this exercise. So the first one, you have inflectional. There are two there. There is inflection, I-O-N there, and then there is A-L, inflectional. The first one is derivational, and the second one is derivational as well. Terrifying, you have only one, I-N-G, and it is inflectional. Terrifying. Okay. Hospitalized, you have eyes and then ed there. First one is derivational and the second one is inflectional. Okay. But then there is one further note that you have to be careful about, which is that when you add the past tense ed, because the verb already finishes with e, so normally you are supposed to have two e's there, double e, but which is not appropriate. What do? We omit one, we keep only one, right? So that's what we mean by here, okay? You have this e plus ed, and then it equals or gives us one ed, okay? Regularize, eyes again, and then the s, okay, regularizes he or she. Reviewers, you have the re, derivational, and then er, derivational, and then the plural s, which is inflectional. Respectably, you have above, derivational, then li, which is also derivational. Okay, so both of them are derivational. But then there is one further thing you have to be careful about, which is when you add able and then you add after it ly, so you omit the e, okay, ability, and then also you omit one l, don't keep double l, okay, able, okay. Respectably, there is one mistake there for the word respectable, okay, let's correct it right now. For other students, I'm going to do the work, okay, so respectably. This is it. And then I hit save. Then I go to, okay, show this again. Nice animation there, no? Okay, represents. So you have re, derivational, and then the third person singular s with he and she, represents, inflectional. Stifles, s there, which is inflectional. Previewed, which is pre, derivational, and then past tense ed, inflectional. Submariners, you have sub there, derivational, and then you have er, submariner, and then you have the both of them, they are derivational, but the s there, it is the plural s, which means that it is inflectional. Further note, which is that submariner, again, when you put er, there is already submarine, e finishing there with e, but then when you add e again, you don't need to have double e, just one is enough. So submariner, one e, and then submariners, the plural s. Okay? So another example of exercise to finish with, well, you're not going to do it, but you can do it later on, take it from the blog. What are the main allomorphs? Okay, we spoke about morpheme, which can have different allomorphs. So you have to determine the morpheme and you say what are the allomorphs, like for example the past tense ed. Okay? Sometimes it is pronounced like looked, sometimes wanted with the, sometimes with ed, okay? Wanted. So what are the main allomorphs of each of the following morphemes? Provide examples to illustrate each one of them. I'm going to post them with the answers for you, and please don't forget the link I put for you there for more exercises which you can do online and give feedback, get feedback for yourselves. Okay? And that's it. Thank you very much. So for the answers for this exercise, if you want to take notes, so the first one, we have three allomorphs. You have se, as in looks, and then you have z, also in cats, the verb cat, you say he cats, she cats, s, or it can be pronounced as z, as in the verb I gave you a few moments ago, which is to beg, he begs for money, begs, or in the verb sees. And finally it can be pronounced as is, okay, dances, okay. For the second one, the past tense ed, the allomorphs it can have is the ones that you know, is te or de or id. It can be pronounced te as in looked, it can be pronounced de as in the verb begged, okay, or it can be pronounced de also in the verb rained, rained, or it can be pronounced as id, listed, wanted, listed, wanted. The other one, in, for the opposite, it can have different allomorphs. You have mentioned already one of them, which is impossible, impolite, or it can be pronounced as illogical, illegal, or it can be pronounced as irrational, or it can be pronounced as normal one, ineligible. Okay, so it can have different allomorphs, and it all depends on the word to which it is attached. If the word, for example, starts with p, impolite, and it all has to do with pronunciation, as you know, because when you pronounce p and then you have n, it's different to keep pronouncing n as it is. You have to make the pronunciation easier, so it changes to m, because m and p, they are pronounced almost the same way, in the same place of articulation, which is bilabial. Okay? Impossible. But if you want to say impossible, two different places of articulation there, which are difficult for the human being to do. Then the same thing for irrational, irrational, difficult for the human being. So you have to make some adaptations for making that easier. It changes to the appropriate place of articulation, which is irrational. Okay? So that's it. And I will post this for you, okay, in the blog.